television studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 21st. My name is Jaden Reyes.
And my name is Marissa Bowen, and welcome back to Xavier News. For this week's Food Truck Friday, try some Korean tacos. The food will be provided by Red Sesame and will be available for free to the first 175 students to participate. As always, it will be located outside the GSC from 4:30 to 6:30. We hope you enjoy some unique food.
This Saturday, OSI will be taking students to Jungle Gyms. Coming a long way from its humble produce stand start, this market has hundreds of thousands of products from all across the world. All interested should meet outside of Corrido at 2 p.m. with 70 spots available.
Xavier now has a new leader in blue. Our new Chief Jeff Thomas takes over our campus police. With his years of experience of being a student here at Xavier and in CPD, we here can expect great things from him. We can also expect more engagement and community policing. Change is coming, and Chief Thomas is ready.
The 2025 Digital Learning Day competition had so many amazing submissions and featured lots of creative work from pictures, video, animation, music, and even graphic design. Many of our very own students entered in some incredible work. Speaking of this past Wednesday, 2 of our DIF seniors won first and second place. Shout out and congratulations to Abigail Horn with her piece titled The Letter, and Andrew Sanders presenting 3. Both videos can be viewed on xavier.edu. We are so proud of you both.
Next up, the Four Nations hockey game. This intense tournament featuring the USA, Canada, Finland, and Sweden came to an end. US topped the standings and went up against Canada in the finals. Canada lost earlier to the USA, their first game 3-1, and with 3 fights in their first few seconds. After a close game in overtime, Canada edges out over America 3-2. Nonetheless, quite a game. Go USA.
This Monday marks the start of Cincinnati Chili Week. The second annual celebration of Cincinnati's famous culinary export runs from February 24th until March 2nd and will feature discounts at dozens of restaurants around the city. Whether it's Skyline, Gold Star, or a family-run chili parlor, there are plenty of ways to celebrate.
This past Wednesday, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced their nominees for the 2025 induction ceremony. The nominees include New Order, Mariah Carey, Oasis, Cyndi Lauper, and many more. Those who will be inducted will be announced in late April, and the actual ceremony will begin sometime this fall.
Former presidential candidate and businessman Vivek Ramaswamy will start his bid for Ohio governor in Cincinnati on February 24th. He is hoping to replace current governor Mike DeWine due to no term limits and no longer being able to run. Ramaswamy has never run for governor in Ohio, but grew up in Cincinnati and currently lives in Columbus. His first bid next Monday will take place at CTL Aerospace, followed by more kickoff events in the following days around Ohio.
Just when you thought it was safe to go in the water, a man named Adrian Simancas was kayaking with his father when suddenly he was engulfed by a humpback whale on the coast of Chile, all of which was caught on camera, going viral online and seemingly a lot calmer than you'd imagined. Though initially thinking the story might end differently, the whale quickly spat out the man in a matter of minutes. What an insane experience and video it is.
Calling all student filmmakers, ready, set, go. This past Tuesday was the College Movie Festival kickoff event that took place at Wandering Monsters Brewery, a Greater Cincinnati long-running student film competition that allows students in local universities to gain hands-on experience and one-on-one feedback from filmmaking professionals. With various awards, tips, and memories made each year, we can't wait to see what students create. This year, featuring the theme of resilience. Good luck to all teams competing. We know you'll make Xavier proud.
We will be right back with some more captivating stories, so don't you leave us just yet.
Found House Interfaith Housing Network helps the furry friends of those experiencing homelessness stay cared for. Here's a video created by Grace Monroe taking a deeper look.
My name is Garrett Parsons. I work as a services director and the pet support director at Found House Interfaith Housing Network. I've been here for 9.5 years.
My name is Kara. I've been volunteering at Found House for about a year now. I started last January.
Found House Interfaith Housing Network is important because it provides families experiencing homelessness an opportunity to get back on their feet and to stay together. The pet support program is crucial to the families in our community that are pet owners, that have dogs, cats, and other types of animals and find themselves with nowhere to go. A lot of families end up surrendering their pets if they have nowhere to go and they're trying to get into shelter, and a lot of families will just stay in their predicament. So what our program does is provide families an opportunity to hold on to their family members and not have to suffer the trauma of saying goodbye.
I heard about this organization through my roommate who used to intern here, and then another one of my roommates started volunteering, so I started volunteering as well.
So I was an intern here over 9 years ago when I was studying social work at University of Cincinnati. That was when the pet program was kind of in its infancy, so I was super interested in kind of this space between animal welfare and human welfare. Once I graduated, there was an opportunity for a job to grow the pet program and see what we could make of it, because it was obvious that there was a need. So the ability to kind of run and grow a program has really provided a lot of opportunity that has made me want to stick around, and I really see the work as valuable. So at any given time, we'll have about 15 dogs, 15 to 20, and 15 to 20 cats. We also have a foster program to expand our capacity, so I believe that also sits between 15 and 20. So at any given point, we're working with about 45 to 60 animals total. There are a lot of difficult parts of it, of course, just like with any job. I think doing work as specific as this makes it sometimes an uphill battle, both in human welfare and animal welfare, to kind of just get people on board with what we're doing. You know, keeping families together is very much a human service, but also the work that we're doing is preventing animals from ending up in our animal shelters. So it's very much animal welfare as well. My favorite part is when the animals get to return to their families. So sometimes we'll have multiple reunions in a given week. The family who has been in shelter, they've been looking for housing, and they finally found it, and they moved in, and then they get to come pick up their animal, or if they don't have the transportation, we can bring the animal to them. Honestly, to this day, it can still bring tears to my eyes. It can be super heartwarming, and is why we do this in the first place.
My favorite part about volunteering here is kind of seeing the cats come out of their shell. If we have a really shy cat that everyone's like, oh, they keep hissing, they keep swatting, and they kind of start to open up more and start to be more friendly, and it's really nice to see that, because that means that the volunteers are doing all the work that we need to do and giving all the support that we need to.
There's a lot of ways to get involved with Found House IHN. In the pet support program, we're always in need of volunteers to care for animals on site. We're always looking for fosters to take animals home to expand our capacity. There are a lot of opportunities to host supply drives and other types of events. And really anyone, if they have a certain set of skills and they want to lend those skills to volunteer with us, I would love for them to reach out and see if that can happen.
That was some great information from Grace. Looking to go to movies this week? Headlining the releases is Osgood Perkins' new horror film, The Monkey, co-written by Stephen King and starring Jaden James and Sarah Levy, among others. Recent blockbusters currently in theaters also include Love Hurts, Paddington in Peru, and Captain America: Brave New World.
This week, Xavier announced a Grammy-winning artist that will be featured in the University Jazz Series. Nicole Zaratis is a 2-time Grammy-winning and 4-time Grammy-nominated jazz singer and songwriter. We are excited to see her perform live on April 10th at Hearth Lounge. Tickets are available now.
For this week's Black History Month figure, we introduce you to Command Sergeant Major Mildred C. Kelly. She was a trailblazing African-American woman in the U.S. Army. She enlisted in 1950 and became the first African-American woman to reach the rank of Sergeant Major in 1972. In 1974, she became the first female Command Sergeant Major at Aberdeen Proving Ground. After retiring in 1976, Kelly remained active in veteran affairs, contributing to the Women in Military Service for America Memorial. She passed away in 2003 and was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, leaving a lasting legacy for future generations of women and minorities in the military.
Due to all the rain we've had in the tri-state, the Ohio River has been under a flood warning since Wednesday and will continue to be under that warning until Sunday. The normal height of the river is around 25 feet, but the rain has doubled the height to 55 feet. The concerning height, flooding, freezing temperatures, and the snow. The river has gotten and has led to several road closures, evacuations, and damage within the tri-state. We hope everyone stays safe and dry until the flooding is gone. That's all for our weekly news.
And we will be right back after these interesting videos where Josh Green sat down with assistant professor in the English department to learn more about their poetry.
I've been writing poetry since I was a teenager, and I would say that my overall experience has been a positive one. It's been a nourishing one, and I'm grateful to have worked alongside and learned from really diverse group of poets from different parts of the world and from different backgrounds. I would say to think about writing in a bunch of different ways and reading in a bunch of different ways. I think when we are watching movies, it's a type of reading. Going to a museum is a type of reading. Walking and talking with a friend is a type of reading. And so thinking about all unlikely sources as like equal sources for material. So think about being inspired by things that occur all over your life as places and stories that you hear as source material for writing. And there's not one way to write a poem. So it's just trying to make a deadline. And when I have an idea or a prompt, it's giving time for the idea to kind of formulate in my head. And so what that could involve is walking around with an idea. And sometimes I will take voice notes based on that idea, or I'll write down in a journal, scribble a couple of words down. And so it's thinking about that and just trying to look for one line and then starting to build from one line to the next. And you have to think that your life and your breath and your presence is something that is worthy enough to be part of an artistic dialogue. So it's just writing from your own life experience, I think, is where a lot of the power is.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Andorn and welcome back to the weekend weather. For the duration of today on Friday, it's going to be a high of 33 degrees and a low of 17 degrees, and it's going to be partly cloudy, but the sun will still be there. On Saturday, it's going to be once again partly cloudy, but the sun will still be there. High of 37 degrees, low of 16 degrees. And then on Sunday, the clouds will be gone. It'll be sunny. It's going to be a high of 43 degrees and a low of 23 degrees. And then we'll be right back with Enzo and Sports.
Good afternoon, Muskies. Enzo here, and I'm bringing you your weekly sports report. First, let's talk basketball. Our men's team swept this week at home, defeating both DePaul and Butler. The boys in blue dominated DePaul 85-68 on Saturday, with everyone getting a taste of the domination. The Musketeers had great performances all around the floor from Zach Fremantle, Ryan Conwell, Dalen Swain, Davion McKnight, and Marcus Foster. On Tuesday, the Muskies defended Cintas once again, putting the beat down on the Bulldogs 76-63, with more outstanding performances from Fremantle and Conwell. Our Lady Musketeers continue their ride on the struggle bus, dropping games to Villanova and Butler. With 2 games left before the conference tournament, something has got to change. Men's baseball has begun their preseason by way of Arizona this weekend. They brought home a win over the Hoosiers in extra innings and dominated the UNLV Rebels, with moonshots from Carter Hendrickson and Landon Mensick. The Muskies struggled against the Oregon State Beavers, though, dropping 2 games to them last weekend as well. Our hometown Cincinnati Redlegs have been showing promise after a strong offseason, and fans are optimistic about their chances in the upcoming baseball season. With young talent emerging and a fresh team dynamic, the Reds are poised for a competitive year as they begin their march to October. And finally, the NHL completed their Four Nations face-off last night. This was the first time we've seen an event of this scale held by the NHL and in lieu of an all-star competition. The U.S. faced Canada in their first championship matchup since the 2010 Vancouver Olympics, and Canada was victorious in similar fashion. Canada took an early lead in this barn burner that ended in a golden goal scored by Connor McDavid of Canada, and the win can only be attributed to a stellar performance from Jordan Binnington in net. The back-and-forth matchup also had goals scored by Nathan McKinnon and Sam Bennett of Canada, as well as Brady Tkachuk and Jake Sanderson in the Stars and Stripes. From hoops to hockey, I've covered it all. That's it for this week's Sports Roundup. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Enzo, and we'll be back next week with more highlights. Next up, a special musical appearance from Jack Fletcher with a cover of the song Elephant by Jason Isbell. And as always, flex your X.
She said, and you're better than your past. Winked and then she drained her glass. Cross-legged on a bar stool like nobody sits anymore. And she said, and you're taking me home. But I knew she planned to sleep alone. I carried her to bed, swept her hair from the floor. If I kissed her before she got sick, I'll never hear the end of it. But she don't got the spirit for that now. We drink these drinks and laugh out loud and bitch about the weekend crowd and try to ignore the elephant somehow. Somehow she said, Eddie, you're better than your past. Winked and then she drained the glass. Cross-legged on a bar stool like nobody sits anymore. When she was drunk she made cancer jokes, wrote her own doctor's notes, crying alone and realized she was dying alone. Drink our drinks and laugh out loud and just bitch about a weekend crowd and try to ignore the elephant somehow. We burn these joints in effigy, reminisce what used to be, just try to ignore the elephant somehow. Somehow